Tonight, unstoppable terror. Japan's worst ever earthquake is followed by an even greater horror. Entire towns wiped out and fears of nuclear fallout as the death toll grows.
And the whole building just swayed. Then when we came outside the power lines, we're just swaying like branches on a tree.
Melbourne joins a shocked world offering to help.
That's one of the things that makes us part of a global village. When people are in trouble, we help.
This is the 10 Evening News with Hermione Kitson.
Good evening and welcome to 10's Evening News. First tonight, the tide of terror that's taken all in its wake after the biggest quake on record to hit Japan. The 8.9 magnitude monster unleashing a 10-metre high torrent that swept entire towns. Worst hit the northern city of Sendai. So far, the death toll stands at 613, with concerns Australians are among the missing. And a new threat has emerged amid fears a nuclear reactor's cooling system has failed. 10's Ellie Donaldson begins our coverage.
Packing a force 8,000 times stronger than the one that hit Christchurch, the quake opened the doors to hell's furnace. Entire cities burned unchecked throughout the...
The Australian government says it's deeply worried about Australians caught up in the worst-hit areas. There are over 2,000 Australians registered as being in Japan, but there could be as many as 11,000.
A soft but reassuring word to our devastated friends. We're here to help.
We also appreciate the offer from you and Australian government and people.
Meeting after meeting, the more the government learnt of the crisis, the more concerned it became.
The pictures are awful. They are stomach-turning. We are deeply worried. We are deeply worried about the impact and the loss of life for the local Japanese communities in that area, as we are about the numbers of Australians.
There are 11,000 Aussies caught amid the mess, 154 registered in the worst-hit area of Sendai. Because it's a popular area with Australian language teachers, the Department of Foreign Affairs fears there could be hundreds more.
This is a terrible, terrible natural disaster. I have been personally shocked by the images that we're seeing. It's going to be a very, very stressing, difficult, tragic time for our friends in Japan. We'll stand by them and we'll do anything we can to assist.
That assistance is a 72-person search and rescue team, plus an additional sniffer dog team. They're ready to fly out tonight as soon as Japanese airports can take them. Extra consular staff are also on standby.
At times like these, we're not just Australians or Japanese or citizens of any one country. We are citizens of the world. We all need to band together, because that's what friends do in times of need.
The DFAT Consular Crisis Centre has received thousands of calls. Evacuation flights aren't yet deemed necessary. So far, there's been no reports of Australian injuries.
We remain hopeful that they'll all be found alive and well, although many are known to be in some of the hardest hit areas.
Amanda Hart, 10 News.
10's Darren Lee was in one of Tokyo's main shopping districts when the earthquake struck. Darren, what was the immediate reaction of those around you? And for those concerned about friends or relatives in the quake zone, a 24-hour hotline has been set up. The number to call is 1300 555 135. We'll have more on the Japan quake tragedy later, but next, leaving his troubles behind, Brendan Favola heads overseas and Melbourne takes sides over the carbon tax. The federal government's proposed carbon tax has divided Melbourne, with emotions running high at two opposing rallies. Those against the tax picketed the Prime Minister's electorate office in Werribee, while supporters gathered at Treasury Place. In the city, the message was clear. Climate action now! Climate action now! Thousands united in support of the government's new tax.
Regardless of how you feel about the science, I think cleaning up the planet is just common sense.
I'm concerned about the kind of world we're going to leave my grandchildren.
As you can see here, I don't want more pandas to be stranded on ice cubes. So here at Treasury Place, it was all smiles for the carbon tax, but across town in Werribee, it was a different story.
Among a smaller crowd, many were concerned about the financial impact. Others angry the Prime Minister had reneged on her election promise.
Today, we have a message for Julia Gillard. Wrong way, go back.
People can't pay their mortgages now. They don't need another tax.
We know when we're being done over.
Numbers alone had the pro-tax protesters claiming victory.
The big numbers at the rally today in support of action on climate change show just how strong that support is.
But Premier Ted Baillieu had his own explanation.
It probably shows that most Victorians were doing their own thing.
Yasmin Payton, 10 News.
Now it's time for Sports Tonight with Ian Cohen.
Thanks very much, Hermione. The axe falls at Melbourne victory with Ernie Merrick sacked. The Pies make it back-to-back flags. Big Israel Folau debuts for the Giants. And it's 10 out of 10 for a supermare. Black Caviar reigns at Flemington.
And that's all the news for now. I'll have updates throughout the evening and look forward to your company tomorrow at 6. Good night.